When I was defending the thesis, the professor said, "Okay, so what? What are you going to do about it?" Then it stuck me, and then I kept continuing, and then it became a full-fledged.
Why did you start it?
Because some of them are just putting their money under the pillow and ultimately send money home anytime, anywhere, with any currency.
I have a feeling that it's going to be a very interesting discussion.
However, it took me almost 5 years to get the license, and we burned about $2 million just to have the regulator. We're also competing with the giants.
To make the process easier, smoother, and leaner for all of the workers, the
Yes,
migrant workers.
and also faster, because when you want to send money home, the
Yes,
family
you
member
can just
is.
do it in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I'm actually grateful because we got the license. The valuation of the company, of course, changes. The trust mark changes.
Of course, this is not just like a financial technology product. This
Yeah.
is also something that you've built to empower communities on a social level, on a cultural level. It's not just about sending money back home. It's also
Yes.
about giving them back the power that comes with them being providers and breadwinners and everything. So I think that's a very interesting way to
And
see
they
it.
can sleep well at night because they know that everything is paid already.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
We are very happy to have you at the Shift podcast today. And let me start by asking you to tell us a bit more about yourself, please.
Okay. So I'm originally from the Philippines. I'm a father of 3. My eldest is 21,
Wow.
studying in Estonia, and then I have a 16-year-old and an 8-year-old. I've been in Doha since 2006. Actually, I'm a resident of Doha, Qatar, and I started my startup journey in Doha after I finished my corporate career. So my background is computer science. Then I went to an MBA where the entrepreneurship spirit came into play.
Can you walk us a bit through your journey, the startup? How did you start? What ignited the will to actually start your journey?
So actually, I was a company scholar when I was taking my MBA,
Okay.
and CWallet was my thesis in HEC Paris,
Okay, of course.
and it was focusing mainly on Filipino domestic helpers.
Okay.
Because during that time, like 2015, 2016, it was the boom of fintech. But there's a lot of unbanked individuals, especially from the domestic labor force,
Okay.
that are having challenges in sending money home. So we started with just mainly a simple research. And when I was defending the thesis, the professor said, "Okay, so what? What are you going to do about it?" Then it stuck me, and then I kept continuing, and then it became a full-fledged startup.
Amazing. So something that started as an
Thesis.
idea at university turned into an actual company where you were very much able to build on everything that you built during your thesis. That's a very, very interesting start. Could you give us a bit some details about CWallet? What do you do? Who do you target? And why did you start it?
So, CWallet's basic principles involve in payroll payment and cross-border remittance. So it's allowing users to receive their salary on time, and then they can conduct online and offline transactions, and ultimately send money home anytime, anywhere, with any currency. So the purpose is when you receive your salary into your wallet, you can conduct multiple transactions. This was the thing that we're trying to do. However, it took me almost 5 years to get the license,
Okay.
and we burned about $2 million just to have the regulator accept our proposal. And during that time, there was no payment service provider framework with the regulator. So we were the first team startups that managed to get the license.
Let's say I'm a migrant worker in Qatar, in Doha, and I'm gonna start using CWallet. Could you tell me what can CWallet do for me that wasn't possible before CWallet?
The traditional way of sending money in GCC, to be precise, like Saudi, UAE, is you go to a remittance house, brick and mortar, and send money.
Exactly.
But then we realized, like, why do I have to queue and waste my day off to send money. That goes the same for some domestic helpers because they can only go out on their day off, but everything is closed. So we wanted them to have a tool where they can actually conduct and send money even when they are, about to go to bed. So this was the thought process, and because the fee is a bit pricey and the exchange, so we created a marketplace of remittance where a user can select, okay, which remittance provider is giving me the best rates
Okay.
and a cheaper fee, FX and everything.
Okay, very interesting. So the added value really comes from the variety and the diversity in the product that you're offering, as well as the comfort, I'm guessing.
Yes, and some of them are, if you're working in oil and gas, so you're probably living in the outskirts.
Very true. So you won't have easy access to these remittances houses
Yes,
that could be
yes.
in the
Then you have to
capital.
wait the following day
Exactly.
to
Okay.
remit. Yeah.
So the point is really to make the process easier, smoother, and leaner for all of the workers, the
Yes,
migrant workers.
yes, and also faster
Of
when it
course.
comes to, because when you want to send money home, the family
Yes, you
member
can just do
is,
it in the blink of an eye. You were also mentioning the challenge that you and the obstacles that you faced when it came to regulation and getting licensed. And we know that you got licensed by Qatar Central Bank, which is a massive achievement.
yes,
So
it is.
congratulations for that. Could you take us a bit through the journey? Um, why did it take so long? And once you've achieved it, did it change a lot in the business itself?
Yes. So because it was the first time that, I'm not a banker, so I'm not
Yes.
familiar with regulations and compliance. So for us, it took us a while to comply. There was a lot of consulting that was required. There's a lot of learning.
Yeah.
The learning curve was really important because we have to hire experts. We have to
Of
hire
course.
cybersecurity. Because this is people's money at the end of the day. Uh, but we went into the sandbox program. That's the
Yes.
beauty. The regulator also evolved because technology is faster than the regulator. So
Sometimes, yes,
yeah,
indeed.
so they try to catch up together, and we're very actually grateful because we got the license, and then the valuation of the company, of course, changes. The trust mark
Of
changes.
course.
People will now, especially when we're doing campaigns, you always put that trust mark that it's regulated, so you don't have to worry.
That
Partners also would like to partner with us. So
that's a very interesting journey. Getting into the entire journey of getting your license and everything. Did it teach you anything from a business perspective? Like this 5 years where you were like hustling to getting the license and everything, from a business perspective, what did that teach you? Did you feel that you cannot take anything for granted? Did you feel that you absolutely need the right experts to be doing the right things to support you on that journey? What did that licensing or regulation journey teach you from a business perspective?
so from a business perspective, it taught me that it's very costly
Yes.
because anything that is regulated is actually expensive because you will have audits, you will have security in place, then you will have constant visit from the regulator checking if everything is in order, fraud risk. There's
Yes.
there's a lot of factor from a business point of view, but the challenges that we have is because you're also competing with the giants,
Of
the
course.
existing banks that are
Of
already
course.
regulated. We have two giant telcos that does the same. So for us, it's a matter of how do you uh, market your product, like what type of persona
Of course.
are you going to target, and what will be their appetite. So we had several instances that, okay, since you're sending money every month anyway,
Yeah.
we'll give you packages,
Of course.
so you'll buy a package of four, and then the fifth remittance will be free, for example.
Okay.
But the problem is the telco also, when we were doing discount, what they did is they they just did free remittance plus 2 GB data. So that's like
Okay.
an unfair competitive advantage. But
Yes.
then this is where you get creative also.
You learn how to hack the system and navigate the
Yes,
system,
yes.
right? I'll take you now through the customers that you're having at CWallet and like their behaviors and how this also can bring you a lot of insights. Um, is there something in particular that surprised you about how people actually use CWallet? Were there like a bunch of different behaviors or unexpected behaviors from customers that you were not necessarily expecting?
Yeah. So we weren't expecting that the Qataris, the locals, will be using it.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Then surprisingly, because you can only, again, it's regulated, so you can only add money with a debit card,
Okay.
which is a problem that we have because most of the domestic helpers, 100,000 of them, doesn't have a bank account.
Okay.
So they cannot add money.
That's very true.
So we went to the sponsors, the Qataris and the high net worth individuals that employs domestic helpers. So they are the ones stepping up, and then they're doing the peer to peer so that they
Okay.
can send money. So it was like a surprise for us that we didn't know. Okay, so they solved the problem that we're trying to solve in a very indirect way. And since I'm from the Philippines, so I
Yes.
was targeting like Philippine embassy, Filipino community, so
Okay.
like Philippines. But then our biggest user base are the Sri Lankans.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And another surprise is our target market are like $400 and below. And there are people sending that 25,000 riyals.
Okay.
So it was a big surprise when it comes to the volume of transactions.
So you realized that the need wasn't necessarily exactly what you expected.
Yes.
And I'm guessing that this also allowed you to pivot a lot in the business model and the product that you're building. So if you are to tell us about like one major change that you did at CWallet from the day you started till today, what would it be?
I think when we added the marketplaces for gaming, because there's also a lot of bachelors that are working in Doha, and they're buying those gift and gaming cards
Okay.
so that they can play, because there's nothing to do
Yes.
because family is not with them. So
Okay. Yeah, of course.
so they're doing this top up. And also when we created a cross-border uh, marketplace where you can buy food, medicine, and grocery home.
Okay.
So it's like Talabat, but you're paying it here,
Yes.
but it will be delivered from home country.
Wow.
That was popular. Medicine, food, and vouchers, where you just show the vouchers and you'll get the equivalent amount in grocery.
It's very interesting to see how an idea can start and the different plugins that you then add on to make it actually as user friendly as possible. So that's very interesting to see. Would you describe CWallet as a product that only allows people to send money or potentially, as you've just described, have a bit more services? Or did you plug in also a financial literacy element? Are you trying to support the users of CWallet to be a bit more financially literated in terms of how do they use money, plan their savings, etc.? Do you have that component so
Yes.
far?
Yes. So financial inclusion is one thing, but financial diversity is another thing.
Of course.
So before it's just sending money. So now we're allowing them to borrow, earn, save, and invest. Because in the beginning, they couldn't borrow because they don't have a credit score. But when they were using the wallet, then we have some transactional history. So we can allow them to buy small ticket size of investment or just merely savings. Because some of them are just putting their money under the pillow.
Yeah,
So which is not safe,
of course.
and then the money doesn't grow under the pillow. So you don't have the diversified portfolio where you can maybe buy gold or something. So it's this is something that we were pushing, and then the problem actually lies when they are just sending,
Yes.
and they're giving them a checklist of what the family member is going to do money that was
With the
sent.
money. Okay.
So I mentioned it many times. So the most powerful person in the family is the one that receives the money.
Is the one receiving,
So he or she decides what to buy, where to eat, what to pay,
of course.
and it's not even because these are mainly female domestic helpers, and sometimes it's not being sent to the husband.
Okay.
So it's the favorite daughter,
Yes.
the favorite son, sometimes the neighbor,
Okay.
because they don't trust their family member.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. So what we're trying to give them is actually the power to decide where to spend. They can pay the school fees, telling their children, okay, you
Of
don't
course.
have to worry of being robbed, for example,
Yes.
because I already paid the school fees. You just have to go, and you can tell your husband that, okay, just show this QR code. I already did the grocery, making sure everyone in the family is nourished, and I already paid my mortgages. So when I go home after 30 years, I am 100% sure that my mortgages are paid.
100%.
Because again, it was my thesis. There were instances that they were like taking pictures of the neighbor's house because they're doing renovation,
Okay.
or the bills weren't paid.
Yes.
They thought everything was paid already.
Okay.
So they don't have evidences.
Of course.
And the embassies like the model because if an employee abscond from work and complain that I am not paid because the transaction is cash,
Yes.
there is no evidence.
Exactly.
So on the contrary, or for the sake of the other party, they can say that no, I have my record also. So it
Yeah.
becomes transparent on both sides, the employer and the employee, which gives the embassy, okay, good to a white list. Yes, we can give them.
Yeah, like a track record
yeah.
of like a trusted track record
Yes.
of people they can work with. I think what is very interesting in CWallet is that the more you're telling us about the solution that you've built, the more we are realizing now that this is not just like a financial technology product. This is
Yeah.
also something that you've built to empower communities on a social level, on a cultural level. It's not just about sending money back home. It's also about
Yes.
giving them back the power that comes with them being providers and breadwinners and everything. So I think that's a very interesting way to
And
see
they
it.
can sleep well at night because they know that everything is paid already.
Exactly. That's a very, very interesting way
And we
to.
didn't do it on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
in the beginning, the orientation was different.
Okay.
So it's a discovery from the customers. And even the customers are the one telling us, okay, can you add this specific location?
Okay.
Or because it can be bank to bank, wallet to wallet, and then cash pickup.
Okay.
So they have
So there are
like
different
preferences.
ways and
Yes.
okay. I would also like to ask you a question about your participation in the Shift program because this is also why we're here today. Has the program supported you in developing further your vision? What were the added values that you got from Shift?
So I did like the Sigma program.
Yes.
So it put us a different perspective when it comes to using that specific platform, and then the mentorship also helped. From measuring the impact that we are doing, because how do you measure impact? It's the most difficult thing to measure compared to if someone will ask me how did you do this year, I would just tell them, okay, $20 million of volume. It's easy to measure.
Exactly.
But measuring the number of lives that was touched, the number of women that we help, because we're trying to break the chain of the pattern.
Okay.
It's like I told them, okay, so the grandmother was a domestic helper,
Yes.
the mother was a domestic helper, the daughter was a domestic helper, but please, the grandchildren shouldn't be.
Exactly.
So for us, if we can break the chain, and she will be a doctor because they manage their finances properly
In a better way.
in a nicer, better way, then we made it.
Yes.
Like the mission was accomplished.
Michael, it's very interesting. What was very interesting in what you're saying is that we're realizing that it's not necessarily a matter of lack of money. It's very much a matter of how to manage money properly.
Yes.
And this can change lives, can change family trajectories. So it's very interesting to see how CWallet could support them in that journey to also change their lives and change like their lives on a very, very long-term journey. So that's very, very interesting to see as well. And also the idea of being able to measure the impact is also very powerful, so that you're able to very much understand the tangible wins that you did and what needs to be changed, not changed, improved.
Yeah.
So very, very glad to hear about all of that. My last question, which is my favorite question, is that I would love to hear about the best advice that you got as a founder, as you've started your journey quite a while ago as an entrepreneur. So is there something in particular as a founder, an advice that got and stayed with you?
There are two things. Like one, life is short. Actually, life is very short.
Very true.
And then be a dreamer, a learner, and a rule breaker. Yeah, those are the things that stuck with me from my mentors.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that. And thank you so much for all of these incredible insights. It was a pleasure to have you with us.
Merci. Thank you.
Merci.